Alright guys, so the Supergirl teaser trailer just came out. I've been really looking forward to this movie actually. I'm a big fan of the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow comic book, storyline, arc, whatever it's called. It's like one of the few comic books that I've actually read. And they're directly adapting that for this, so I think that theoretically would make for a good movie. I've enjoyed everything in the DCU so far, that being like Creature Commandos, Superman, Peacemaker Season 2. I've generally been a fan of all of it, so I am going into this with positive thoughts, but we'll see. Maybe this will be ass. It very well could be. Oh, it's also the first project not directed by James Gunn. Although I think he technically didn't direct or showrun Creature Commandos, but that's basically a James Gunn show. This is supposedly the first one that he's only involved in as like the studio head. So yeah, let's play and see what's in store. It's Crypto! Yeah, that's right. Crypto is gonna be in this movie because Crypto's also in the comic book. And also, they reveal that Crypto is Kara's dog in Superman. He's technically not Superman's dog. Right off the bat, this is giving Guardians, right? We get the diegetic music, kind of like Peter and his like headphones and whatnot, and the mixtapes. Well, Superman saves town in nuclear reactor explosion. Oh, I thought that was going to be like referencing the first Superman movie, but I guess not. This is like a separate thing where Superman is just randomly saving the day. Have Crypto peeing on the newspaper.
You managed to get most of it on the paper this time.
Yeah, she's just like a mess. Which they revealed at the end of the Superman movie. And I guess I would go into why she's like this, but if there are people that haven't read the comic book and they don't know her origin, I guess I'll just not spoil that.
Good job, buddy.
Let's just be real. There are a lot of people out there that are not super jazzed about how James Gunny the DCU is so far, right? Because when you look at Creature Commandos and you look at Superman and you look at Peacemaker, like a lot of it follows that very like sardonic, edgy, sarcastic, very humorous tone that James Gunn has in his movies. And to be clear, I don't necessarily feel that way. Like, I've enjoyed all of it. And I think Superman feels significantly different from Creature Commandos and Peacemaker Season 2, but it certainly has its James Gunn's quirks and his weirdness and his wackiness. It definitely was in there. This right now, just right off the bat, and to be fair, we are 24 seconds in, it does feel like Guardians. And I don't mind that, but I can sense a disturbance in the force, and I know that people will be annoyed by that.
Cars are out. Hereby declare the 23 will be the best year yet.
Okay, so she's 23. I will say, though, I do really like that right off the bat, she feels completely different from Clark. Because that was a mistake that the CW show made, where they basically just made Kara a female version of Clark Kent. And I do appreciate that, the comic does this, and the trailer's doing this so far, where she feels completely different from Clark. She's not overtly positive, goody two-shoes type character. Like, she's going off to different planets and getting drunk in bars. She's clearly an emotional mess. I appreciate the very clear distinction.
Let's be honest, babe. It's not a very high bar to clear.
Oh yeah, I mean, you also have to look at the sadness of the fact that she's celebrating her birthday by herself. Well, obviously Crypto is there, but I mean, that just adds to just the depression that is Kara Zor-El.
I didn't know any of you were still alive. What was it like to lose everything in a day?
Oh, so yeah, okay. This is actually really interesting because with Superman, they didn't show the origin story of Krypton being destroyed. And I'm sure that was in part a decision to be like, all right, everybody's seen the Superman origin story. We don't need to show it again in the new Superman movie. But I also thought, like, you know what? I think they're going to save it for Supergirl. Because, so, the unique thing about Supergirl is that she left Krypton when she was like a kid. And so she has memories of growing up on Krypton. Unlike Clark, who left Krypton when he was a baby and he has no memories of Krypton and he's basically lived all of his life on Earth, that's not the case with Kara. So this is a great move to show the destruction of Krypton again, but show it through the eyes of Kara. This is actually a really good move, I think.
No, any of you still alive. What was it like?
So yeah, we are going to get glimpses of Krypton. I think we're also going to get sort of an expansion of the Kryptonian society, because they left things very weird in Superman, where like Clark's parents are like telling him to conquer Earth and to create a harem and all that stuff. I wonder if we're going to get sort of a clearer picture of the Kryptonians, and maybe we're going to see that they weren't necessarily these like savage conqueror people. Maybe there were different types of Kryptonians. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they handle all this.
What was it like to lose everything?
Yeah, this is a Ruthie. Before I spoil things, I'll see if the trailer organically says what her character is.
In the day.
Krypton didn't die in a day. The gods are not that kind.
I think that there was like a chunk of Krypton that was like floating out in space or something. Is that what she means when she says that Krypton didn't die in a day? And so she like watched the rest of her family and people pass away slowly. I think that was a thing, right? But I can't remember if it was specific, if that was this Woman of Tomorrow that did that this is specifically adapting, or if my memory of that is coming from some other storyline.
Okay, this does not look like this is gonna end well. For you guys.
Are any of these guys Jason Momoa? Because remember, guys, Jason Momoa is actually playing Lobo in this movie. It was always so weird that they cast him as Aquaman, because he just does not give Aquaman to me. And to be fair, they changed the character of Aquaman to fit Jason Momoa better. He always was meant to be Lobo. He was born to play Lobo. So I wonder if they're going to show him to us in this, or if they're going to save that for the official trailer. Yeah, see, like, this character design is just, it is very Guardians coded.
Do others on your planet have powers like you?
No.
That's cool. She, like, flips her around so that she takes the brunt of the impact.
It's a pretty small group of two.
Oh. Yeah, and so that's the thing. I think she's saying that because everybody else is dead. So but it seems like at that point when she says that, Ruthie doesn't know the whole story. Oh. You know, again, they're not explicitly saying what's going on here, so I'm just gonna not spoil things for people who don't know things. Oh, there he is. Oh, dude, that looks awesome. That's the thing. It's weird because I don't necessarily think that Supergirl is a character that is going to get a lot of box office, but for whatever reason, general audiences, they just like Jason Momoa. I can't really explain it. You know, he's in Fast and the Furious. Those make a lot of money. He was in the Minecraft movie that made like $1 billion. Or no, I think it almost made $1 billion. But the most inexplicable thing of all are his Aquaman movies. For some godforsaken reason, the first Aquaman movie made $1 billion. How? Why? How did the Aquaman movie make more money than Man of Steel, Wonder Woman, Batman v Superman, Justice League? How did that happen? And even at the tail end of the DCEU, when general audiences had just completely given up on the DCEU, when you had movies like Blue Beetle making under 200 million, you had The Flash making 200 something million, you had Shazam 2, making 200 million, I think. Somehow, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom managed to make like 400 something million. General audiences like Jason Momoa. I think if Jason Momoa wasn't in this movie, if it's good, it'll probably make around somewhere like 400 million. And if it's like really bad, probably around the 200 million mark. I unironically think that Jason Momoa being in this movie can like propel it to, like, if it's good, like 500, maybe $600 million.
What's Superman like?
He sees the good in everyone. And I see the truth.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I think they're getting the character right. It's not like she's like necessarily like super edgy and she's like cursing all the time, and like she's not the inverse of Superman in that way. She's just more jaded and beaten down by life. I think they're getting her characterization right, especially like hearing her interacting with Ruthie. I think she's going to feel different from Clark, but not to such a degree that it just feels like you're making an edgy version of Superman. I think that's a hard line to walk, but I think they're going to walk it well. All right. Yeah, I think that looks good. Again, I anticipate the discourse is probably going to be like, oh, it just looks like more Guardians. It looks like more James Gunn stuff. I think that's going to be like the loud sort of people on Twitter and stuff. And I understand that perspective, but I think it looks like good James Gunn slop. If it looks like a Guardians movie, it looks like a pretty good Guardians movie. And also, to be fair, I mean, like, again, if you've read Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, then you know that it's a movie that takes place entirely in space. Or it's not a comic book run that's like super dark and gritty and edgy. So it's like, this is the appropriate tone for that comic book run. And I understand that, like, from a strategic point of view, maybe it would have been smarter to have Lanterns come out before this, or try and get Clayface out before this, so that it doesn't just feel like a bunch of James Gunn stuff is coming out, and it makes it feel like this universe is only going to be James Gunny. I also respect the way that James Gunn is running things, where he's like, we're only going to put stuff out when we're ready to put it out. Like, we're not just going to rush things into production when they're not ready, which is why, obviously, they let Matt Reeves work on the Batman Part 2 for like 85 years. They're still working on Batman and Wonder Woman. Obviously, in a perfect world, we would have Superman, then Batman, then Wonder Woman. But I respect the way that James Gunn is doing it, to be honest with you. But either way, what did you think about the trailer? I think it looks really good. I think it's going to be good. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.